Hi, I am Diva, and then I thought to send over a short video about what the Nebula Cafe is going to be all about. Since we haven't met in person, this will give you a good idea. But before that, I want to say something, and I really hope that you don't mind it, and I hope you're not sensitive to it, right? If I compare Canadians with Americans, and if you are, my apologies in advance. But that's also true, and then this is fact that we are behind Americans on many different levels. And then throughout the years, I have been observing, and I was trying to find out like why is it happening and then the same thing, if one person is achieving more, progressing more compared to another person, what's the thing? So my background is actually psychology and neuroscience, so I did my undergrad at University of Toronto. And then throughout that, I actually, I would say, turned into entrepreneurship, founded my first startup at University of Toronto Entrepreneurship. So they supported me throughout that. But then I still was not finding like what's happening, right? So why we have this difference? So one group doing really well, another group not doing really well. So for that reason, I wanted to experience Americans. So I applied for a 1-year MBA program in Boston at the Health Business School. Actually, I noticed something there. There was so much happening at so much more frequency and I would say more intensity as well, right? So there was this place called Venture Cafe, and it was between MIT and Harvard. It was actually a short distance between these two institutions, and there was something happening every single day, and also sometimes more events happening even on a single day, right? And I noticed something. There were so many innovators, tech people, people from social sciences, from health sciences, from any field. They were coming together, and then they were networking, and they were learning from each other, exchanging ideas and things like that, right? And then on overall throughout my MBA, I made sure that I go through every single thing happening in Boston, right? So I haven't been through San Francisco, and I'm sure it's much more, I would say, advanced in terms of networking and building stuff, right? But still, that's the difference. And now I still wanted to tell you one more thing, one more story. It's actually about my mom, and then I will come back to Nebula Cafe, right? So my mom was actually born and raised in a small village in Afghanistan, right? So she hasn't been to school, but she cannot read or write, so she's completely illiterate. But she raised 9 kids, and she's a strong businesswoman. So back, I would say, in 1990s, right? So that's when there was a war, extreme poverty, and political chaos in the country. That was also the time when I was born, right? And then I had my two, I would say, three other sisters that we were actually a year apart from each other, right? So my dad passed away during that time. We lost other family members as well. But then my mom, she didn't give up, right? So what she did was, she was actually a tailor, so she started making dresses, and then she sold them for an income. She raised chickens, and then she actually grew vegetables. She made sure that her kids don't go hungry while there was extreme poverty or hunger around all the country, where people would go hungry for weeks for a single loaf of bread, right? So that's the story of my mom. And now she is actually 75. So what you might be thinking she is doing, she might be retired or she might be resting, but actually she is back to Afghanistan in our village. She has built 25 wells. She 3 houses, and she is employing 10-15 people for her projects, and her big dream is to build a big hospital in our village, right? So that's who she is, right? And then one more thing that I missed in our story was like when there was this political chaos, my dad passed away, then Taliban came in, and there was no school for girls, right? So my mom made sure that she moved us to Pakistan, where there was education. So me and my 3 younger sisters, We actually started school at the age around of 13, 14 years old. We did 2 years of schools in 1 year, and then I graduated from my school at the top of my school, made my mom happy, went to second best medical school as the top 10 students, still making my mom more happier. But then only after completing a year and a half, we moved to Canada. I started at U of T, wanted to go back to med school, didn't work out. So I turned into entrepreneurship. So that's my story. So the first story was about comparing Canadians with American. The second story was about my mom, right? So these the people who really wanted to achieve the impossible, they are doing so many things at a higher frequency and a higher intensity. If there's two different people, if that's a group of people, if those are nations, the thing that separate one from the other, the one that's achieving, the other one was just lagging behind, is this thing you have to do more at a higher frequency and a higher intensity, and then you will learn, and then you make things happen, right? So that's the story. And then now coming to me wanted to build Nebula Cafe, and how the story kind of related, right? So I wanted to build a multifunctional space, right? Something that has never been there before, right? So, and there will be three main features for this cafe, for this place, right? So I will say it is Nebula Cafe, right? So it will be as a restaurant that will be providing multicultural cuisine for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. So that's one part of it. The second part of it is it will be a space for founders, investors, tech people, AI people, business people, that they wanted to come here, network, connect with each other, and kind of exchange ideas to bring the impossible into possible, right? So, and then the third thing is this, right? So I told you that I did my undergrad at U of T, and it was a bachelor's in psychology and neuroscience. So if I compare my 4 years with the 50 books on psychology and self-growth in my Audible, so those 50 books have taught me a lot more compared to those 4 years, right? So the third thing is this thing. I wanted to change the 4 years bachelor's degree into a 4 months founder cohort, right? So the first 2 months will actually be that the students, in this case the young people, wanted to build something, they will be learning skill, connecting with people, and then refining what they wanted to build. So, and then the last 2 months will be, they will be actually turning their ideas into ventures, and at the end of those 2 months, we will be investing up to 250K in the top 3 to 5 ventures, right? So that's a replacement from a 4 years bachelor's degree into a 4 months cohort, right? So because for bachelor's, what you do is like you waste literally 4 years, and then what you do is you are holding a piece of paper with a lot of student debt, and you're hoping to get a job. Why not give an opportunity for the young people to use the 2 months? 2 months are more than enough that you wanted to learn the skills in this age of AI and all those resources that's available online. You learn the skills that are actually needed to help you to make something happen, right? And then you make your teams, and then the last 2 months is where actually you build your venture, right? So here's the thing. Nebula Cafe will be an accelerator, a replacement for the 4 years bachelor's degree, a restaurant, and then a multifunctional space for builders, innovators, and tech people to exchange ideas, right? So it will be the YC for Canada. So from YC to NC, but NC Nebula Cafe will be for Canada. So that's my story. That's why I wanted to build Nebula Cafe, and I really hope it kind of resonated with you. And here's the thing. We need supporters in the community, and then you are the very first, I would say, group of people in your team that I'm reaching out to help me to get the space and then make it happen. So that's my story. I really hope that we meet soon and then discuss this further. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.